Hey guys, so in this video, I just wanted to go through all of the things that I've learned in my lifetime about having a healthy lifestyle. I've had cancer once, and I had to learn a whole lot of things to become healthy, and I wanted to just share that with you. So I'm just going to go through a PowerPoint presentation of foods that I favor, foods that I avoid, activities I favor, activities I avoid. So here we go. So first thing, eggs. These are like your natural multivitamin, um, really high in lots of vitamins and lots of minerals. And this is just for one medium-sized egg. You've got, you know, just B12, 25% of your recommended daily amount. So that's a lot. And so if you had like 4 of these, you'd cover like a huge amount of your, daily intakes. So all berries. Each berry contains amazing things. Goji berries and blueberries are the ones that I recommend most, but they all contain great stuff like antioxidants, anti-cancers, and yeah, so I tend to eat them with Greek yogurt because the fat in the Greek yogurt allows you to absorb the nutrients better. Olive oil. It's a gentle oil in the sense that it's not heavily processed. Um, It contains this chemical, don't know how to pronounce that, oleocanthal. It's an anti-inflammatory, and that's why everyone says, this is good for you, this oil is good for you, and it has like, cardioprotective properties. It's good for cardiovascular system, blood pressure, etc. It's part of a Mediterranean diet. Nuts. Most nuts contain the same stuff, listed here on the left. But I think you want to target specific nuts if you want specific outcomes. Like walnuts, higher in omega-3 and polyphenols, and so they're much better anti-cancer. They have higher anti-cancer properties. Pistachios are good for like blood pressure, but you could just have a mixture of nuts, to be honest. That's probably the best thing to do. Seeds are very similar to nuts. They contain very similar things, but they can be used for specific things. Like pumpkin seeds contain a lot of vitamin K, E. They lower bad cholesterol. They have tryptophan, which is good for sleep. Magnesium, copper, zinc, iron, phosphorus. Flax and linseeds are extremely high in omega-3, which is great for brain health. They contain antioxidants. Sunflower seeds contain E, vitamin B, folate, lots of other stuff. I would have a mixture of seeds, organ meats. So I would recommend having once a month because you can have too much organ meat and you can overdose on certain things. But beef liver is like one of the most potent ways to get like vitamin A and copper. As you can see, it contains 1,000% of your recommended daily amount, which isn't necessarily a bad thing to go over. It's just you don't want to go over all the time. Beef kidneys on these percentages it's a lot more gentle than the beef liver, so I recommend eating beef kidneys if you're going to eat them all the time. But yeah, definitely I would recommend once or twice a month eating this kind of stuff. Kiwi fruit, fantastic. It's a natural multivitamin, just like eggs are. It contains literally one kiwi can give you your entire day's worth of vitamin C. And yeah, you can just see, imagine if you had a couple kiwis, you could cover a lot of ground. Skin on fish. I say skin on because the skin contains a lot of the omega-3, and that's kind of the primary benefit of fish. So yeah, just for example, salmon. It actually doesn't matter too much what fish you eat. These two, EPA, DHA, and also contains retinol as well. Dark chocolate. So I say in this presentation not to eat sugar, but this is the only exception. This is the only sugar I will eat if it's in the form of dark chocolate, because pure chocolate is extremely bitter, especially if it's a dark roast. But yeah, so the main thing is it contains flavonoids and polyphenols, which neutralize free radicals, very anti-cancer, very antioxidant. Yeah, improves blood flow, blood pressure, good cholesterol, this chemical and serotonin precursors, so it will improve mood. Insulin sensitivity, maybe. There isn't much research on that. And just like loads of minerals, kind of like nuts contain the same stuff like magnesium, copper, iron, manganese. So yeah. Fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut, so they just improve gut health, which can improve mental health. It's important to allow your natural gut to flourish with different kinds of flora, and that will help. Mushrooms, again, this is like eggs. It's a natural multivitamin. So just in 100 grams, you've got 17% of your B2, B3, B5's 15. So you might imagine if you had 200 grams, that's covering a lot of ground there. Vitamin D they contain. If you leave the mushrooms on the side, they will absorb the vitamin D. Garlic, it's a great source of sulfur and allicin, which is used to fight microbes. It's a natural antiviral as well. It contains thiosulfonates. So yeah, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer as well. Vitamin D. So if you're a cave troll like me and you sit at your desk all day, then you'll need to supplement this. Yeah, so you can get it from foods, but I just take a vitamin pill most of the time. If you do take the vitamin pill for it, you'll also need to take magnesium because it will deplete your magnesium levels. So if you take vitamin D, it will deplete your magnesium levels, so you'll need to supplement. So yeah, just honorable mentions in this list. You've got peas, asparagus, tomatoes. Actually, it doesn't matter. Any vegetable, fruit. The key is variety, so you can get the micronutrients. The things I've mentioned here are like the multivitamin type stuff, where it's heavily dense, but get as wide a range as you can, really. So we're going to cover the foods I avoid now. So artificial sweeteners like fizzy drinks and chewing gum. Why? Well, let's say aspartame. Well, this can cause a bad gut bacteria, which can impact mental health and just overall well-being. They are unnatural chemicals, they're heavily processed, and the act of tricking your body is generally a red flag to start with. And I don't like putting anything in my body that's like tricking something that's like natural, because it's just got bad vibes to me. Alcohol. So I can't have a little bit of alcohol. And so one drink always leads to another, and then I end up drunk. So I've known many people who have had problems with alcohol dependency, addiction. It's incredibly addictive, and to some people more than others, depending on your genetic makeup. So I've used it as a social crutch, and better to just learn how to speak to people properly rather than using Dutch courage. If you drink on the regular, your liver is taxed, which means that your ability to burn fat and your ability for your liver to convert fat into lipids is impaired. So you're constantly putting your liver under strain. It's not doing as good a job at converting fat. So you often see a lot of middle-aged men with bubble guts. That's a common cause, is alcohol. And also alcohol can lower testosterone. So yeah, sugar. Again, I can't have a little bit of sugar. I need to eat the whole packet of biscuits, and which could be like 1,500 calories, which are empty. And yeah, so I got cancer around the time I was eating a lot of sugar, and yeah, it's just empty carbs. So caffeine. I tested it. It raised my pulse by 10 beats per minute, so it puts strain on my heart, and I often have heart palpitations when I drink caffeine. For me, I just don't like the idea of being dependent on something. Generally, I think dependency is bad. If you can avoid dependency, you should. It's like, oh, well, I can't do a day's work without my cup of coffee. Well, it's like, maybe that's a bad thing. It's not something to go around saying like it's acceptable. Like, to me, that's not acceptable. It's like I'm dependent on drugs, like, and for me, it's caused burnout and fatigue in the past. Palm oil and seed oils. So yeah, I was eating a lot of palm oil around the time I got thyroid cancer, and yeah, the palmatic acid is known for altering the genome, so it can lead to cancer. And yeah, seed oils are bad for your metabolic health and for the health of your mitochondria, so I would avoid seed oils, especially if the seed oils are fried, because when you fry seed oils, also they can produce aldehydes, formaldehydes, and those are cancer causing, and so I would strongly suggest try and avoid crisps, Bombay mix, anything fried. Just stay away from it. Your health will be better for it, and you'll have clearer skin. So daily salads. Okay, so this is a bit controversial because salads are known for being healthy, but I think they're not healthy because they contain lectins, and they are the natural pesticides for plants. So you can see a list of things I just copied from the internet. It just creates like inflammation and bloating and a lot of other issues in the body, just like a wide plethora of issues in the body. So actually, I do think that salad is healthy, and so I recommend eating it like twice a week tops. The Indians, they don't eat salad in India. They cook all of their vegetables and leaves, and I think they're wiser than us when it comes to food, so I trust them. So I would try and cook the leaves if you can, like spinach, cook them rather than have them raw, etc., etc. Gluten. So for most people, it's not a problem. For me, I can't eat gluten. I get a cloudy head, and I get inflammation. My skin gets worse when I have gluten. So go without gluten for a couple of weeks and see if things are better for you. So similar to gluten, dairy, especially milk, I get acne and spots when I drink milk. I still have a little bit of dairy, but not much. But if I have too much, I get cystic effects, like deep subdermal cysts type stuff. Processed foods. So, for example, like Cheez-Its, frozen pizzas, ready meals, fizzy drinks. So these are all processed because they're made in a factory, and they contain palm oil, and they contain a huge list of ingredients, and you don't know what those things are. A lot of E numbers, strange things, and yeah, you're not in control over the ingredient quality as much. So anything that contains preservatives. So there's a lot of different kind of preservatives, but they are designed to kill bacteria. And so the problem is that you have a lot of bacteria in your body. And so when you eat preservatives, you're killing your natural gut floras. So nitrates are linked to bowel cancer, and they're found in bacon and sausages, so I don't eat those. There are alternatives that contain no nitrates called Naked. There are a few different brands, but yeah. Potassium sorbate is linked to asthma, and it's found in fizzy drinks. yeah, I don't do fizzy drinks at all. Too much salt at the same time. So yeah, salt is good, but if you have a lot of salt in your body, um, your sodium levels will increase massively, and your cells, they absorb more water when the sodium level goes up. And so yeah, it can increase your blood pressure. It can make your blood pressure fluctuate a lot, and the actual cell will expand, and so you'll age faster.
So yeah, activities I do. So exercise, um, 10 minutes of running per day and 10 press ups and some weightlifting. Um, so that's actually not much exercise, and the bar is purposefully low so that I am encouraged. So there's no barrier to entry. So I'm not like, um, you know, discouraged from doing it basically. And I can always do more on top if I feel like I can keep going. Um, meditation, so I recommend 15 minutes minimum per day because this helps with anxiety and it gives you a clear head. Long duration meditation will lead to spiritual revelations. This is just a known thing. Um, yeah, so forms of prayer are useful connection to the divine. I don't know what that means. What do I mean by that? Um, like mantras and things like that, and maybe like thanking God or you know the universe, sort of like gratefulness exercises. If you write down or just think about things you're grateful for, this can improve mental health and it can give you a better connection to the divine. Um, so there's a certain kind of meditation where you breathe one long breath in like this, and then when you breathe out in like spurts. So 10. So one in. So if you just keep doing that for like 10 minutes, you'll feel incredibly relaxed at the end of the 10 minutes. So sleep. So I install Flux on my computer. In fact, I think you can see it now because the screen has gone slightly tinted, and that's good for your sleep because it blocks out the blue light. So I say red light blocker, but that's meant to say blue light blocker. Um, so yeah, that'll help your sleep a little bit. Try and go to bed consistently. Fasting. So yeah, I try and do this twice a year. It lets your body reset. You in your body you have like proteins that aren't used and they're sort of floating there and they can cause cancer. But if you fast, you're sort of getting your body uses all of them because it's got nothing else to use. So um, it has a lot of health benefits when you fast, which is why I think most world religions do it. Um, so yeah, actions I avoid: sitting still for too long. Yep, just known for being really bad. You need to keep the blood moving, so I try and do like jump squats every like couple of hours. Yeah, vaping or smoking. This is like really obvious. It's carcinogenic, and especially vapes, you don't know what chemicals they are, and you can't trust them because the supply chains are often infiltrated. So you're like smoking really toxic Chinese, God knows what. Um, so yeah, any drugs, like any kind of dependency, is really bad. Like for example, marijuana, um, it like numbs you, and that's really bad because it prevents the hero's journey, prevents you from self-actualizing and fighting your demons, which is the dragon, but it's the internal dragon. It's you, like it's a part of yourself which you need to fight, um, and so you're just numbing the problem. And I think that if you go down the spiritual path rather than the materialist path, which you're probably on if you do drugs, um, you'll it'll make it easier to overcome the addiction. Um, So gambling, yep, stock markets. If you don't know what a P/E ratio is, you probably shouldn't be on the stock markets. Most people on the stock markets lose money. It's rare to actually make money on the stock market. And if you're doing it and you're making money, that's fine. If you're learning, then that's fine. But it can induce mania. It can be a source of stress. And so if you have a full-time job and you make good money, I would avoid it. I'd put my money into an index fund or managed fund or something like that. Sport betting or slots. Yeah, that's kind of obvious. Like bad for your mental health, bad for your bank. I would just stop. Masturbation. So a bit cringe, but So it will heavily impair spiritual and personal growth. It will lower your self-esteem. It will lower your testosterone. It will inhibit mate-seeking behavior. It will create numbness, and it will affect your social life. It can also affect your personal relationships because, sex won't be as passionate, and you're not fully there as your natural self. And also, that I'm not going to say that out loud because it's kind of, but yeah, you get the idea. Stress. I'm convinced that stress was a very key part of the reason why I got cancer, and it's something that I still battle with more than anything else that I've covered. Stress is like the one that I struggle with the most, and I think that is for most people true. Meditation helps, breathing exercises help, socializing can help, and changing your environments, bigger picture thinking can help. Ironically, the spiritual path didn't actually help this. It actually made it worse because now there's more responsibility when you know everything has meaning, and you're on this planet to learn and grow the God consciousness or whatever. It actually makes things more real than if you just say, oh fuck it, nothing actually matters. Because if you say, oh fuck it, nothing actually matters, it's easy to go to sleep at night because you don't have to really worry. It's kind of like, whatever. So actually, it just, I don't know where I'm going with that. But yeah, just, I would say meditate is the main thing, and try and do like exercise that can help. Avoid highly addictive video games because they kill your time and they make boring things seem even more boring. There's your flux. Yeah, obvious. In summary, eat food made from scratch, follow common sense things and follow your gut. Try and have a natural existence because it's healthier, and the closer to nature we get, the better. Okay, thank you. That's everything.